Hello and welcome back to the Deep Blue Sea for part 3 of the Sea Monkey FAQ mini-series. If you haven't already seen part 1 and 2, I will drop a link to the playlist right up here. I hope you've enjoyed them so far and learnt a lot, and I'm going to learn more in part 3. Thank you everyone for watching. If you haven't already, please hit like and subscribe, and I will leave a link to my Instagram down below. Thank you very much. Grab a cuppa and enjoy. How to aerate your sea monkey tank. So with the Magic Castle tank, I know you get a bubbler tool, which is great for just squeezing air into the water, like so. You can also use the sea monkey spoon. It's got a paddle on one end, which has a really cute sea monkey on. So you can just stir the water around like that, and that will aerate your tank. Can you use a straw? No, I would not recommend using a straw. You breathe out carbon dioxide, and that is not what you want going into the water. You want air. You want normal, non-breathed out air. So I wouldn't recommend using a straw, no. How often do you need to aerate the tank? Once a day is absolutely fine. If there's a lot of algae, maybe 2 or 3 times a day. When I had an air stone going, I set it up to go for 5 minutes every 2 hours throughout the day. But it's entirely up to you. If they're starting to swim slow and be quite lethargic, maybe increase your oxygenation, and that should help. How often do you need to feed them? Sea monkeys need feeding just once a week. Make sure the water is clear before feeding them, and that it is not cloudy, because this could be a sign you are overfeeding them, and that is the #1 killer in sea monkeys. So you only need to feed them once a week, and it's the small end of the spoon. What if you run out of food? So if you run out of food, you can order more food from the Sea Monkeys website that I will link down below. But there are other alternative foods you can feed them as well, like spirulina. I culture spirulina here to feed my sea monkeys. I also have Nanochloropsis occulta phytoplankton. That is another type of algae that I feed them. You also have things such as Liquazel, which is a brine shrimp liquid food. They also do Microzel, which is the powdered version, which is better for when they are adults. That's really good for when they are young. So that is the Microzel. You can also use powdered spirulina, which I have here, nice and green. So they're available from places like Amazon, the internet, aquatic stores, places like that, and this is just available in my fridge because I culture it myself. And I have other videos on culturing algae at home, which I will also link at the top. So, when can I first feed them? So you have to wait 5 days before first feeding them. This is so you don't suffocate the baby. So 5 days after putting in packet number 2, which is the eggs, you can feed them. And then it's just once a week after that. Can you pre-dissolve their food in water? Yes, you can if you wish, although there is no need to. You can just pop the spoonful of food straight into the top of the tank. What does the black line through their body mean? I know I briefly covered this in video 1, but it means it is their digestive tract, and it is showing you that they are fed. You want them to have a nice black line through the centre of their body. Do I need to put anything in their tank? No, everything you need is included in the Sea Monkey starter sets, like these 2 here. Everything you need is included. I wouldn't recommend adding anything into the tank. If you're doing a DIY tank, you can add ornaments and things like that. However, be very careful that they won't trap sea monkeys or have big leafy things on that sea monkeys could get caught in. Can you add gravel to your tank? No, I wouldn't recommend adding gravel or sand, because sea monkeys can get caught in this. Things like live sand don't do very well in sea monkey tanks, I know from personal experience. In my big brine shrimp tank, I do have very fine gravel, which they are absolutely fine with, and they haven't got caught as of yet. But it is something to do with caution. Do you need grow lights or anything to stimulate the algae growth? Yes and no. It is completely optional. You don't need them, but they are, I would recommend them myself. I have the red and blue spectrum LEDs that I use for some of my tanks to stimulate the algae growth, but it is not essential. How long does natural algae growth take? So it can take a few weeks to start forming, but it can take a couple of months, if not longer. Algae can take quite a long time to establish a good population of it, but in a few weeks or so, you should start seeing little green bits in your tank. Do you need a filter? No, there is simply no space in a sea monkey tank for a filter, and if you have a larger tank and are doing a DIY setup, you don't need a filter because they will suck the sea monkeys in, especially their eggs. Even something like an air sponge filter, it will not work. Trust me, I have tried it. Can you add decorations? As I briefly mentioned before, you can add decorations if you're doing a DIY tank, but be very careful that the sea monkeys won't get trapped or snagged on these. But in a sea monkey tank, they come with decorations like this. You've got the castle tank, which has a lovely pretty castle in there, so you don't need to add decorations. So for a basic sea monkey setup, everything you need is included. You get the tank, you get packets 1, 2 and 3, which is the purifier, the eggs and the food, and also the spoon. In tanks like the Magic Castle, you also get the bubbler tool, and I believe sea monkeys on Mars, you get one too, although I'm not entirely certain on that. So everything you need is included. If you watch one of my other videos, you'll see how to do a large fancy tank setup with all of the grow lights and heaters and timers and smart home and everything like that. Trust me, it's insane. You should definitely watch it. There are white clumps in my tank. They look like bacteria. What do? White clumps in the tank can be bacteria, so you can just simply remove them with the bubbler tool and get them out of the tank. Black spots on your sea monkeys can be a sign of black spot disease, which can be infectious between sea monkeys. If the odd one gets it and dies, that's not a problem and it hasn't passed to the rest. But yeah, just keep an eye out for black spots. It can be a disease and you should just keep an eye on it because that is a sea monkey problem. And lastly, why did they die? This could have so many answers. If someone asked me why their sea monkey dies, why their sea monkeys die, the first thing I usually say is, what temperature were you keeping it at? Was it consistent? Were they too cold? Did you overfeed them? Because overfeeding is the #1 cause of sea monkey death. So that's a common thing to make sure you don't overfeed them. I know they're your babies and I know you want to feed them and give them treats, but please, please, please don't overfeed them. They will love you more if you don't overfeed them. Trust me. So it's a case of, are they aerated enough? Have you overfed them? What's the temperature? There's many reasons why they could die or why your colony collapsed. And there will be a future in-depth video on sea monkey first aid, all about the sea monkey health and different problems to look out for in your tank. I hope you have enjoyed the part 3 of the sea monkey FAQ mini-series. Thank you very much for watching. If you're not already, follow me down on Instagram. My link is down below. I hope you have enjoyed your cuppa. I hope you will like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Wherever you are, have a brilliant day, evening or night. Bye bye. Cheers.